China could dump Bitcoin. In the past week, we saw how Nancy Pelosi, the number 3 representative in order of priority in the US official diplomatic scale, visited Taiwan, which was taken as an hostile aggression to the Popular Republic of China. China is now going against it and is putting sanctions and may even end up affecting the whole economy and end up affecting Bitcoin. How can this affect Bitcoin? How can this affect the economy? In this video, we're gonna try to understand what was going on in Hong Kong, why this happened, and how can this affect Bitcoin. But before we start, as I always say, please, if you like the video, a like helps a lot, and if you want more videos like this, you can always subscribe. And we know that have said already. Let's go! Okay, so here we are, and as you may see in the screen, all started with this woman, Nancy Pelosi, who went to visit Taiwan last week, okay? As you may see here, she was wearing in a beautiful pink, sign of work. So basically, what is the problem? What is going on here? For people who don't know, Nancy Pelosi, as I said, is the third person ranked in the system of political hierarchy in the USA, because she is the boss of the representative chamber in the US, okay? So she made a trip to Taiwan, which you may understand, or you need to understand, that Taiwan is not recognized by any country in the world, only like 10 or 12 countries, not even the US. It's supported by the US, but it's not recognized from the US. China supports that only the real China, the big China, is one China, and that Taiwan is part of that China. So even in their own program, they have that by 2050, Taiwan should be Chinese, like full Chinese, and China should be one. So this is a very important point in the geopolitics of the Popular Republic of China, if you can call it like that. So for them, it's very important. So having someone with such a high charge like Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan, basically showing that they recognize Taiwan, was taken as a threat, as a hostility, which is understandable as the position of the USA has changed a lot. As you know, since the virus that we had in 2020, the position of the US has changed a lot. They realize how they have lost some gains, or they have lost some ground versus China, and because of that, the position against China has been more hostile. They put these sanctions in commerce before. Now trade is going better, but still there is some sanctions, there's still a bad atmosphere, there's still not a good connection, and they are generating this kind of alliance in the Pacific to go against China. So this is just one move of them, but the thing is, it's very close to China, because as I said, it's in Taiwan. It's a very important topic for the Chinese people, and they got very mad, okay? So first, we need to understand two things, okay? First, why did Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan? Most important point, probably because of the midterm elections. As you know, in this year, we have the midterm elections where we will have to, US citizens will have to choose all the parliamentaries in November 8th. And this seems to be kind of an act of campaign, to be completely honest, okay? That's how it looks. Apart from that, Biden, the actual president of the US, didn't recommend her to go, told her, please don't go, like it doesn't make sense. Still, she went. It was all kind of political image, support to Taiwan also, because they support Taiwan and they want to show support to Taiwan. But in general, in the eyes of China, was terrible. So how can this affect the economy? How can this affect Bitcoin? Well, first of all, the real bad news is not just that she visited Taiwan. The real bad news is that, first of all, China has sanctioned Nancy Pelosi over her Taiwan trip. Not only her, but like, because as I said, she's the House Speaker. But I think also like her family and stuff like that. So they sanctioned her and everyone from coming to China, from doing business in China, for entering Hong Kong, from entering Macau, and everything like that. Okay, it's kind of symbolic because Nancy Pelosi, I don't think she's gonna go there, but still they did that. The real problem is not that. The real problem is that they also sanctioned the US, or tried to sanction the US. They said they were gonna come with some sanctions. They made some military exercises around Taiwan. They are still doing those military exercises, like literally around Taiwan, which is very aggressive. And also they will suspend the China-US climate change talks, and they will cancel 2 security meetings and a call between military leaders, okay? Which means that they are actually doing stuff. China is not used to this type of behavior. Normally, they are the type of guys who are talking about this cooperation, this growth, this economic growth, how it's more important, how they don't fight, etc., etc., etc. Well, not this time. This time they are tired, and they also cancel these talks about the climate change, which you may say, how is that related to economy? Well, the thing is, you need to understand China is a very polluting country because they have 1 billion population, so it's a very big country. So they pollute a lot, and they are getting very, very strong recession economically. They are not growing as fast as they should. We don't know the real numbers; they are not really public, but we know that they are not growing how they should. So everything that they can take off from this political climate stuff, it will be better for them, because if they can contaminate more, they can reduce costs, they can probably grow more. So for them, it's good. But it means that in general, these kind of sanctions that they are going to put in the US will probably put some sanctions against them. So the real thing is that we are getting a conflict between China and the US in elevating tensions, in elevating sanctions. And this only means that trade can go down, like it happened in 2021. It can be affected, prices can be affected. And in general, the general sentiment is not good. For economy, it's not good to have conflicts, okay? Economy flourishes where there's no conflict. So if there is no cooperation, if there is conflict, it's not good for economy. How is this affecting Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin seems to be a little bit doing whatever he wanted the last week. Seems like it was not affected, but lately so many news getting together. Bitcoin is starting to show a lack of strength, okay? It was on this top of around 24,000. Seems like it cannot go over 22,000. And actually today, even though this is not exactly because of it, it went down 4%. So we are in 23,000. What about Ethereum? Well, Ethereum is also down. It's around, it was around 1,700. Seems like also it couldn't break that 1,800 barrier. It was like almost there, but it didn't broke it. And now it's in 1,600. Seems like the actual, well, the risk assets like Ethereum, like the stocks, they are not reacting like they should. They are not going down as they should to this type of news, while the bond market reacted very aggressively. The stock market is not moving, okay? We can see that the general sentiment, as I said, is that there's going to be a recession. If there is still a conflict with a recession, the mix is obviously terrible. And as you can see, for example, the petrol, okay, which petrol is basically an indicator of what people think there's going to happen with trade, okay? You need to understand, if there's more trade, there is more use of oil, and if there's more use of oil, the price goes up. As you can see, the price of oil is going down. It went up a lot with the war, but now it's going down. It's already in around $98. It went down around like 20% already. So they are implying that there is going to be a recession, there's going to be an economic crash, and obviously if there is a conflict with China, that doesn't help. It's true that there is also some good news in the case of crypto. For example, we had the news that Coinbase partnered with BlackRock to be able to offer institutions, like big institutions, crypto investing, which is great because BlackRock, I think they manage, is an asset firm, the asset management firm that I think manage over, I'm not sure if it's like $7 trillion, but it's like a huge amount. To be more specific, this year they lost 1.7 trillion, which is an amazing management of assets. So they did terrible, but in general it's very big. Like it's very big. As soon as one institution of there buys Bitcoin, price would skyrocket because of the lack of liquidity. Like this is huge institutions what we are talking about. So yeah, this is great news. Obviously, there's some good news, there's some bad news, but the mix of all of them, they are not good. Okay, it's true that we don't have the unemployment that it was expected. It's true that the Fed has reduced the interest. Has indicated that it's not going to increase the interest rates, which is more precise. And it's true that soon, I think next week, we'll have the data of the inflation that we'll have to see. If inflation is still going up, probably these interest rates will keep going up, so it's not good. Hopefully inflation didn't go up as much as before, and we'll have a better picture. But in general, the general picture is not good. Okay, the macro picture for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, is not looking good. The only thing that is looking good is the Ethereum narrative. Basically, the merge narrative is pushing Ethereum from its downs of 1,000 to 1,700, and it's still pushing it. Okay, as you can see, it's not the same as Bitcoin. It's not doing three tops like in Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, you can see it goes 23,000, 23,000, 23,000. In Ethereum, it went 1,500, 1,700, 1,795. Obviously, it's losing that steam because the general macro situation is not good. So what does it mean? Well, this is not financial advice, but it says that in the short term, probably with this narrative of Ethereum, we can get, not related to all this that is going on, we can get a good narrative, we can get a good pump, late pump until September. Maybe, it's not 100% sure, but I think that can play out. But after that, we probably will retest the lows that we did before. We will probably go down. Why? Because the general macro situation is not looking good. If it starts looking better, then maybe it will increase. But obviously, if you have China and the US already fighting, that doesn't help. Okay, as I said, we have midterm elections in November. After November, maybe things go well. Midterm elections in general are a good point where economy changes and starts going well because of political reasons. So yeah, we'll see if that affects. But having China almost collapsing with the US military is not just about economics. Like it's not a good idea. Okay, you don't want to have a fight in Taiwan. You don't have to have that. And the fact that Nancy Pelosi went there only for politics explains how much the world only moves for some people, and it's not a good thing. Okay, it's not a good thing. In general, topic of cryptocurrency, as I said, it won't affect that much directly. We have seen because of this narrative of Ethereum, because actually the stock market and the cryptocurrency market is not reacting to these events like the bond market, for for example, the bond market is always reacting very scary. But right now, the stock market and the cryptocurrency market, they are like in, I don't know, they are like in another world. They are not reacting how they should be reacting. We'll see how it goes. But for now, it seems like they are not. So this is the news that I was throwing in today. This is what we have that I think is interesting to understand, basically all this trip, all this Chinese stuff. If you like the video, as always I say, give it a thumbs up. It helps a lot with the algorithm. You can always subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!